Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back with another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing episode 3 of Moonknight here on the channel. So yeah, so far I've kept up the streak. I've been able to do these Moonknight reviews weekly. So yeah, that's good. Now we're on week 3, episode 3. So that's pretty cool. Just before we get into this video, I want to just warn you guys, spoiler warning for episode 3 of Moonknight. So yeah, anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, episode 3 is titled "The Friendly Type." So yeah, throughout this episode, I thought this episode was pretty interesting. I mean, it continues on with the path to gloriness. I mean, obviously, I'm not even gonna lie. This episode this week kind of slacked off a little bit for me. It's just my opinion on that one. It slacked off for it, but I mean, you're not expecting every episode to be a straight up like bang or anything. So it's completely reasonable. It's still a good show so far. Still enjoying it. Did enjoy this episode still though. Don't worry, I still enjoyed it. Anyways, let's go through kind of like a recap. So we essentially see pick up where the last episode left off, and we're essentially now in Cairo, Egypt, as Mark is essentially trying to find Arthur Harrow and try and stop him from resurrecting. I think it's Amit is how you pronounce the god's name, and Arthur Harrow essentially wants to resurrect this god, and yeah. So that happens with that does happen there, as we see that happening, and then all of a sudden, and then he tries to find him with the help of Conchu. Conchu actually calls a meeting with the gods, and the gods all agreeing that this is not a problem, which I think I see now as a further plot point for later on. Yeah, we see that, and then we see Mark's wife. Uh, yeah, sorry. Last week I accidentally called her Maya by accident. That's not her name. Sorry, her name is Layla. Yeah, that was my bad from last week. Uh, episode 2 review. Yeah, I was recording that pretty late at night, and I stumbled on my words and accidentally called her Maya for the whole thing. My apologies on that. Sorry, Lila, as Lila has came as well, and then the two of them decide to essentially visit this place where with the tomb, as people are searching for treasure, or the I think they're searching for some kind of treasure, and then a big fight happens, and yeah. Uh, so yeah, continue on here. Let's see what are my favorite parts of this. So firstly, actually, I want to just touch a bit about on some bad stuff. Um, so from the bad, there's nothing really. I just want to point this out. You could take it how you want to take it. I take it as a middle kind of thing. Not terrible, not good. But I've realized every episode of Moon Knight so far has essentially followed this strict formula where it's like you get time as Mark and you learn a little bit more about Mark, or you learn a little bit, or Steven's around, and they're essentially in their body form. And we learn a little bit more about Conchu, and then the final, I'd say 15 minutes ish, we end up seeing him just suit up as Moon Knight and fight people. So I mean that's something I've observed. Like, it even was at the start of this episode, I was like, yeah, Moon Knight's not gonna come till the end. I know for a fact, and I was actually right. He didn't suit up to like closer to the end, which is all right. But I mean, it's just kind of predictable now. But I mean, it's not nothing bad, or it's not like boring or anything. It's just kind of like, yeah, why is this like this? But I mean, for the most part, it's all right. It's nothing bad. But yeah. All right, moving on to the good. In terms of this episode, I really enjoyed the action sequences, especially at the end. That was really good. I really liked that. It was awesome. It was perfectly Moon Knight. It was perfectly like amount of violence to where I know obviously Moon Knight is like straight up. He's very violent and everything. And of course, this is Disney Plus, so they're not gonna like put something super violent. But it was just enough to push that boundary. I really liked, for example, how those men on horses were literally stabbing him, and like stabbing. I don't. It's not swords. It's, I think you call it lances. I think they were stabbing it into him, and then he was literally like, no, and then he grabbed like his moon star. I think it's I think they're called like moon or these moon shaped crescent his weapons, I guess you could say, those star weapons or the moon weapons, and he started just throwing them at people. That was honestly a sick kind of thing to do right there. I really liked it. Now, something else I really kind of enjoyed as well was the fact that, again, this was like very much so more Moon Knight fighting. Because if you realize too, if you've ever read the comics, you would know that Moon Knight is one of those characters. He purposely dresses in all white for people to know he's coming, and like essentially kind of like be scared and know he's coming, that he's about to bring some serious pain and probably end their life. So if you knew that, so I find it interesting they're adding that touch because he just straight up just walks up to them and beats them up, which is really cool. Another thing I realized too, as a slight hint, is if you've noticed, Moon Knight was barely even dodging of that in that fight. He was literally taking hits after hits. And if you know in the comics and everything, Moon Knight is a character that doesn't really dodge. He just literally lets them hit him. Like essentially, he would let them punch them, and then he'd be like, "Oh, that's what you got," and he kills them or something. So that I thought that was pretty interesting and a pretty interesting touch. I obviously like Mark Spector is dodging and stuff, but I mean I guess that's under different scenarios. But I mean when you're actually seeing Moon Knight, that's why it was interesting when he was getting like stabbed all those times and all that stuff. So yeah, that was pretty interesting as well. Another thing I'm starting to really like is the different personalities kind of coming together. I'm really liking how now Steven and Mark are essentially working together now, which is really cool as opposed to like Steven, let me in your body, ugh. And then Mark being like, and Mark saying that, or then Steven's like, no, 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 Mark, and then vice versa, like that. I was kind of like, that was good for the that moment, but it was interesting now that we're seeing them kind of work together. Where literally like, Steven, do your thing and do your thing quickly. So I thought that was really interesting, as well as we're starting to see that interestingly enough. I don't know if they're gonna put any more personalities, but it could be interesting to put more personalities. But I mean, I'm kind of liking the personalities of both Mark Spector and Steven. Is pretty cool to kind of see that happen as well. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. In terms of like how I'm liking Arthur Harrow so far, I mean he seems like an interesting villain. I can't wait to see what happens with him in the next few episodes. That's one thing I'm not really. I'm interested to kind of see what happens in the next few episodes. We still have gotten nothing on Mark dying, which I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna wait till next episode or something, or at least episode 5, because I know they have something with it, because if I read the cast members correctly, Bushman is in here, and that's the man who literally killed Mark, or left him for dead. So I'm thinking they're planning something. Hopefully, I do hope that happens. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it though. In terms of my score, honestly, I'd give an 8 out of 10. Just a few things lacking off in this episode, but I mean, it should pick up next week. It's still a good show. I still enjoy it. Still will watch it. But anyways, that's pretty much it though. Thanks for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.